Wait, they just reset the credits every 5 hours. That sounds like a fundamental shift in how we use these tools.
It's the friction that's gone, Bella. They've traded credit systems for pure, relentless experimentation.
Welcome back, I'm Bella.
And I'm Michael. This show's scripted and produced with AI, built by Taha Baba, pulling today's stories straight from blog.tahababa.com.
If you want these landing in your feed most days, go ahead and subscribe. Let's get into it. Replit just dropped free mode, which resets those AI development credits every 5 hours. That sounds like a significant shift in how developers interact with these tools.
It certainly changes the friction points, at least. Removing the traditional credit system just to facilitate iterative experimentation is a bold move for them.
So, the real game changer seems to be the integration of OpenAI's GPT-5.6 Luna into that system. That's making advanced AI coding tools much more accessible.
Essentially, they are democratizing access by making the AI interaction feel less like a finite resource and more like an ongoing experiment. It's less about budgeting and more about flow state.
I wonder how teams will leverage that flexibility to accelerate their development cycles with this new iteration.
They'll likely just start coding faster, which is the most immediate benefit. It moves the focus from managing tokens to maximizing output.
Wow, OpenAI actually hit the brakes on their biggest training run. That sounds like a massive decision, triggered by something called Astra.
It certainly is. It highlights that the speed of innovation sometimes has to take a backseat to safety concerns, especially when dealing with models that might be operating in a top cybersecurity tier.
So it's less about the training itself and more about managing the risk of an unreleased model. It makes you wonder how they balance pushing boundaries with ensuring robust guardrails.
Exactly. It seems to be a clear reflection of a growing trend. Organizations are realizing that without strict risk assessment, the potential for unintended consequences outweighs the desire for pure speed.
It puts the focus squarely on the responsibility of the developers. How do you think we ensure that self-regulation truly translates into effective, real-world safety measures? So, Copilot had an undocumented setting that let people bypass the consent guardrails. That sounds like a massive security loophole.
It was, and the fact that it was discovered by a third party like Varonis really highlights how much we rely on those internal systems being perfectly secure.
And Microsoft patched it quickly, which is good, but it makes you wonder about the bigger picture. How much sensitive data could have actually been exposed before the fix?
Exactly. It underscores the fact that for enterprises using AI, the convenience factor often overshadows the necessity for rigorous, transparent security auditing.
It really brings up that question. How do organizations manage that balance between making AI useful and keeping it absolutely secure? Wow, Stanford's AI agent absolutely crushed those teams by analyzing 120,000 pages of Treasury documents. That sounds like a massive leap forward for AI agents.
It certainly is a benchmark, Bella. Outperforming 10 human teams in that kind of deep document analysis really highlights how quickly these systems are evolving. It's less about the raw analysis and more about the agent's ability to structure the query.
So it's not just about processing speed, but something more strategic. It really makes you wonder how quickly industries can integrate this level of agent capability into their daily workflows.
Exactly. The real question isn't how fast the AI can read the papers, but how fast we can integrate these agents to streamline those complex, document-heavy processes. That's where the human expertise needs to pivot.
It definitely shifts the focus from manual analysis to oversight. It makes me think about what kind of human skills will remain most valuable when agents handle the heavy lifting.
Right. The future likely involves less crunching numbers and more defining the right questions for the agents to answer. It's less about replacing expertise and more about redefining it.
Wow, $65 billion in annualized revenue run rate is massive. Anthropic is seriously redefining the economic landscape of AI right now.
It is a significant gap, Bella. The fact that they are outpacing OpenAI by that margin, driven purely by enterprise adoption, tells you something about market segmentation.
So it's not just about the model performance, but how they are monetizing those models through enterprise contracts and efficiency. That token efficiency must be a huge factor.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from raw model capability to operational efficiency. It makes the question for OpenAI and others less about who has the smartest model and more about who can deploy the most efficient, scalable solutions.
It makes you wonder if the incumbents are moving fast enough to catch up to that momentum. It feels like a real challenge to the established leaders. So Anthropic's Claude generated de novo protein binders with a success rate of 22 to 35% in wet lab tests. That sounds like a massive leap forward in biotech.
It is statistically impressive, especially since that range is more than double the typical industry average. It really highlights how quickly AI is moving from theoretical modeling into tangible, testable biological reality.
It really puts the transformative potential into perspective. If this level of success is reproducible, how quickly do you think traditional biotech firms will manage to integrate these AI-driven insights?
The integration will be slow, I suspect. The challenge won't be the generation of the binders, but setting up the necessary regulatory and experimental pipelines to trust and scale those AI predictions in a wet lab environment.
That makes sense. It shifts the focus from pure discovery to implementation. It seems like the future of R&D is less about the initial idea and more about how effectively we can translate AI insights into actionable, physical results. I was just reading about Google's Operation Blue Skies, and it sounds like a huge step forward for sustainability.
It certainly is a practical application of AI, optimizing flight paths across the Atlantic to reduce emissions by adjusting routes based on real-time data.
It's fascinating how something so abstract like AI can directly tackle a major environmental issue in an industry that is traditionally very carbon-intensive.
It really shows how AI-driven optimization can be a powerful tool for decarbonization, offering a glimmer of hope for tackling climate change.
So, do you think this kind of dynamic route adjustment is something other sectors, maybe energy grids, could benefit from?
That's a great question. The principle of dynamic optimization definitely applies broadly, suggesting that many other industries could leverage this approach to tackle environmental challenges.
I just read about this incredible AI model developed by Chinese scientists, one that can predict depression up to 4 years in advance. That sounds like a massive leap in mental health diagnostics.
It certainly is a bold claim. Predicting a mental state that far out shifts the focus from treating symptoms to proactive prevention, which is fundamentally interesting.
The potential for early intervention is huge, but it makes you wonder about the practical application. How do you think healthcare systems would actually integrate a predictive tool like this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We have the technology, but establishing the ethical framework for using such sensitive, long-term predictions while maintaining patient privacy is going to be the real hurdle.
Exactly. It brings up the whole issue of ensuring ethical use and data security before we start rolling these predictive tools out widely. All right, we're diving into some rapid-fire AI updates.
Let's go.
Adscreator.com has launched an AI agent designed to fully automate creative ad production.
OpenAI's latest financial disclosures reveal a sobering reality. Despite leading in innovation, revenue growth has stalled at just 18%, while operating losses ballooned to $12.3 billion.
In a bold move to embrace AI, Paidy has opened its social graph to autonomous AI bots through the Model Context Protocol, ensuring AI-generated posts are explicitly labeled.
Unitree's Superman humanoid robot has set a new benchmark for speed, outpacing Usain Bolt in a stunning demonstration of robotic agility.
Cerebra's Systems has unveiled its next-generation wafer-scale AI supercomputing system, boasting significant speed and throughput advantages over NVIDIA's flagship accelerators.
A new malware strain, TWINLOOT, has emerged, using Microsoft 365 and Azure infrastructure as its command and control center.
Anthropic is on track to shatter records with a reported $2 trillion IPO valuation, a figure that would make it the largest public offering in history.
The FDA is considering doctor-like assessments for AI-enabled medical devices.
And finally, Cerebra's launched the C-4 server rack, challenging NVIDIA in the AI chip market.
That's today's show, scripted and produced with AI by Taha Baba.
You can read the full write-up anytime at blog.tahababa.com. And if you want these landing in your feed most days, hit subscribe.
See you next time.